a range. When you have Monday with no news, Tuesday has news, Wednesday has news, Thursday and Friday have red folder. Are you expecting Monday to have one directional volatility, or are you expecting range bound price action? Morning, Paul, or afternoon, Paul. I'm tripping. Cool. Before we begin, looking at this, little painful. Little painful. Why did I not hold this? Look at that. Extra 50 points. Extra 50 points.
Those options, man.
Options is right.
Gotta get on that shit, bro.
Options is right. I did a little bit of research on that today.
Nice.
A little bit of research on that today.
I'm super fresh to that game, but I know we'd just absolutely murder it.
Ironically, today was actually a day that ground the options into dust for those that are trading weeklies. It just went sideways and ate their premium.
Yeah, if you're not in and out today, like, you know what I mean? You're round trip and shit. But there was definitely good money to be made on the options side today, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Like getting in long here with a range type.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then, you could have shorted that top back into put puts back into that SNDR there right in the middle. Once you see that hold, you go back in the calls.
Yeah, pretty much. So when we're evaluating, and you guys are evaluating ranges, first off, the expectation is how to know when you're expecting a range, right? So, yes, we have a fundamental reason of expecting a range. We also saw, not the hourly, the 15-minute chart, right? So we saw this for the first 4 bars in the morning. We then failed below here. We had this low, which gave us a lot of sweep trades actually out of this. We had this low, which eventually ended up being the end target. Why that low instead of this one? Right? We're looking at the liquidity. Oops. We're looking at the liquidity, right?
And if you pull that, if you pull a 5-minute zone there, bull as well. Like if you look at that zone,
5 minute.
Go back. Yeah, like see from that high to the low. No. Yeah, from there to there, from there to the bottom. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. 50 sweep.
Yeah, first tap here after it closed, I suppose. Finally violate, or and then double bottom in there. Cool.
Yeah, just like that, like SBS type of thing. You know what I mean?
The 50s. I probably would have missed that because I don't look at the 5 as much as I probably should. But we had this 15-minute zone from Asia last night, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wish we drew something like that where we did this. Right. And I mean, you could argue that one as well. But the whole point of it is that when we're here, say we're here, and we've got all this that's not part of structure, right? All of this is. There's no swings in here. In theory, there's no swings in here. We see it attempts to go below. This bar is not our structural candle, right? Because if we're following along, you've got this candle here, obviously closed above this. This is our last bull candle so far. Did we have a body closure above it? Yes. So this is now our structural candle, right? This one's irrelevant. It wasn't a bull bar. This is an inside bar with a bit of manipulation, which then manipulated lower below here, right? This is kind of the crux of our system. If we sweep fail the high here, we typically will take the low of that candle. And even in this, that's 10, 15 points, right? But this is our structural candle. We traded up, but we failed to close above it. So this candle closing below here is irrelevant. We're actually looking at here, which we failed to do. Why is that important? It's important because there's no swing in this pullback, and I use the word pullback loosely. There's no swing in this pullback here, right? This is our structural candle. Nothing closed above it, nothing closed below it. This is a huge range, right? Manipulated higher, failed. So what does it do? Failed to close above our structural candle. Where's our target? The low of the structural candle, right? Where's our sweep entry long? Below the failure of the structural candle, right? Failure here does what? Makes this high weak, bang, right? You guys in London probably destroyed that. You know, on a smaller time frame, you might see something like this. Cool. But structurally, this isn't part of structure. That's important because if we fail up here, our narrative will be that we want to go lower to clean out everything that's not part of structure. Right? Consider if the hourly or the 4-hour pulls back from here, what does it look like? Right? Where is it going to trade to? Leave that on there for now. Right? That's actually a horrific thing because it's already done it. Right? So we sweep fail up here, trade lower. Where are we going to trade to? We'll actually go right below this candle's low. And then by extension, below this candle's low. And you'll notice as well in this entire leg, there's nothing. So if we break the SNDR, this SNDR that broke this downtrend, then we're in a lot of trouble for the downside. Okay? So let's see what ended up happening on the 15-minute chart. We trade down to where? This low. Why this low and not any of these ones? This is where the market attempted to sell off, and this low actually mitigated a prior area. Not a swing, not part of structure. We're still expecting all this to get cleared out. But if we're looking at the lows to take sweep entries from, ideally you want it a protected low. But if you're looking for liquidity, you're looking for areas that were part of manipulation, that are now targets as we flip to the downside. So we only have these two lows here. You could, in theory, I suppose, put this one as well. right? This was a lower time frame pullback that then sent us higher. Probably see a little bit clearer on this, right? But not particularly, do we? 15-minute market structure shift during Asia messed me up last night. Yes, so Asia is a different beast entirely. Asia, you're looking at, I actually don't even trade off the 1 minute in Asia, if I'm entirely honest, unless I see equal highs or equal lows. For Asia, we'll go over Asia really, really quick because there's a lot of interest in Asia right now, which is really cool. In no small part due to socio absolutely destroying the market. Who doesn't like making a lot of money? Where are we here? Right. So, what day is it today? The 8th. I'm way out of here. Here we go. Asia. There we go. My God. All right. So Asia, you're looking at failure with a double top, comes down, put in a low here, right? Failure with a double top. You understand so far? Failure with a double bottom. Takes you back up to here. Failure with a double top. Right? Takes you back lower. Failure with a double bottom. Takes you back higher.
We were actually joking about this last night in the DMs, me and Bull, because he took one trade like kind of that was like from like the New York playbook of what we look for during the day, right? But Asia's a different beast, right? You want to wait for those double bottoms, double tops in areas of interest, and that's what really gets price moving at night. Kind of a little bit of a different beast, you know?
Yeah. So we went short in here off the double top. I think we covered here. We would then went long here, right? Which ended up going above these equal highs and then went short again. Oh no, we went short here, didn't we? Sorry.
Yeah, remember you were like you were a little bit early on that one, remember? And then I waited for, and then you kind of like sat it out, and then I took it on the sweep, and you're like, oh, you a-hole.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I got my sweep here, so I was like, sweet. I swept these equal highs. I'm looking lower because we just had this failure double top here, and it sweeps again. You schmuck. Comes back down here. I'm like, all right. Sweeps again. I'm going, well, what is this Asia price action here? Mikey's in from like right here, the prick. Right. So we're laughing. I took a loss in here and then I ended up making it back on this trade. But regardless, we're not here to talk about my trades in Asia. But for those of you guys that are watching Asia, these market structure shifts, right? It's a little bit more objective related because the volatility is lower. So you got to wait for that sort of sweep failure. And then you're like, okay, the objective's done. We've kind of shifted a little bit to go higher until we get the same sort of thing. Right. But Asia is basically sweep objective related and take that trade. Sweep objective related, take that trade above. Right. Or in this case, would be there.
And I look to get involved in like more like 15-minute zones in Asia. And that seems to really work a lot better as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. But whether you're trading Asia or New York, we look at liquidity and the understanding of whereabouts liquidity is. You guys probably want a video on that at some point really soon, eh? So the three things that I'm focusing on, I still, that last poll I did, I think it was the last poll in deplorables where I asked your guys' thoughts, and there was a resounding thing on price action theory, which essentially is going to be a lot of the narrative focus. So I'm going to blend those two in rather than doing a video. So make sure that you guys looked at the schedules and you're tuned in. It will be recorded before anybody asks. And leave my hair on my head. But there's going to be a narrative session where we kind of go over that. But in terms of the sweep, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback or people that are working through it and they're kind of slowly understanding what's going on, the sweep is so powerful because we understand where the liquidity is, right? So this was one of my trades this morning. Took a sweep of that for 10, right? With the understanding that it's a range bound day. So we were actually looking to see if these highs were going to get taken in the morning, which they were. We failed, right? And the expectation was that if we created an SNDR at the top of the range and it got liquidated, then at the very minimum, we're on a short-term downtrend to the other end of the range. Or the more likely option was that we were in a range itself, right? If we're going to go higher, the only thing that would save this from being a range day would be if we broke higher, closed, traded back into the SNDR, and then left. That was our pre-market narrative for this morning of things to consider. But the far more likely option, given that it's Monday without news, is that we consolidated here. We took the liquidity in the upside. Now we're rushing down to take the liquidity to the downside. Whether we take this low or not, right? If we do take this low, either way, when you're trading ranges, whether it's a small range, right? Say you're trading within here, or you're trading within this larger range, you're looking to take trades on the extremes at failure, and you're looking to trade back to the midpoint. We're not looking to sweep here and take the other side, and then sweep here, take the other side. Sometimes that works. That's amazing, right? The banger that we caught on stream today went right from here. I'm pretty sure it was like the sweep of this, and could ride it all the way up. Right? And we'll go over that in a sec, but when you're identifying range days, you're expecting failure. Range days are the sweep days because we don't have this one directional, oh crap, we're long and it's dropped 60 points. Right? Sweep days are the days where even if we're wrong, it's going to trade back in and then fail, but we still make our bread. Right? So we kind of identify when to stay out of trouble. Days like this, as many of you found, a lot of the sweep entries were excellent. One of the things that does not work on range-bound type days is getting a sweep, getting a rejection, trading here, and then expecting this structure that's forming internally to take external liquidity. We don't go from external to internal to external for you ICT people in range-bound days, right? So we can identify those in the morning, trading at something different entirely. So we had these two areas marked out this morning. And what you're looking at with these is that these lows actually mitigated 1 minute zones, right? So these were pullbacks into areas that mitigated, right? So this is our origin double bottom. What area mitigated this area? Midpoint's here, this low. Why is that important? It's important because the area that mitigates the area becomes your support, right? So if we're looking at this entire move up and you're looking at it going, well, I can look on a 15-minute or an hourly chart and realize that none of this is part of structure and I'm expecting it all to get liquidated. Cool, right? But when we're talking about that, essentially what we're doing is, are we mitigating ourselves in the way down after we get a body closure above? Yes, right? This down move mitigated this midpoint. This obviously had a closure above the prior zone, and then what happened? We traded back down and mitigated the prior area. So now if this low goes, this low goes, this low goes, and this low goes, because this area has already been dealt with. ICT calls it low resistance liquidity. We call it liquidity run. We call it a barbecue. We call it 1,000,001 things. But what we're looking for is there anything that's left unmitigated for us to tap into? Right? That's responsible for something. And if we don't have that and we flip order flow, especially with a failure, how violent is it going to be? Violent. Violent, violent, violent. Right? Until it's not. We took this trade here, made us sweat for it. Some of you guys ended up trading this a little bit better than me, I think. There was one trade in here, I think, that I took off for 6 or 7 points or something, and some of you guys held it to target. I think that might have been the target there. But I wasn't really a fan of us trading into this and failing. Right? So congrats on your stubbornness, you legends. If we play this along, why are we looking for this sweep here rather than looking to sweep below this low? What's our narrative? Put it in the chat. What's the main thing that we'd be considering or not considering? What's the main reason we're avoiding taking a sweep of this low? From the video itself. Failure above. Yeah. Failure above. Higher time frame double top. Objective met. We took the high and failed. So we don't want to be buying this low. We've got a higher time frame push coming in. Right? Consider the failure here. Even if you bought on the close of this candle, we're not getting involved here. Right? That's late. You're taking an extra 7, 8, 10 points of drawdown. Buying in the middle, hoping that one side gets hit before the other. Right? Where's all the buying pressure? Where's all the buying pressure? We actually ended up going long here, and then I went short. This was a nightmare to sit through. Eventually taking the low of this candle before going on a rocket ship, I think. Yeah, there it was. Right? So the reason behind thinking short here, A, we're at the top of the range. B, we've got an objective lower. Right? But mainly, we're looking at where it's being respected. How hard it's fighting in here. And then failing to go lower here, especially our structural candle, gives us cause to potentially go long. And I know some of you guys did. Right? We took that high. Right? But if we're failing here, this has to trade to an objective. It's not just going to randomly go down to a random spot. Right? It's going to go to some level internally that it has an objective for. In this case, it was that low that we identified earlier. Right? And then we're looking to see the reactions of it. And we called this on stream, didn't we? Right? If we trade higher and then the response comes in, right? If we trade lower and react off of this imbalance, it's very telling that we're looking for a little bit higher before we trade back into the range. Instead, we got a response. Right? So now we're actually looking at the next objective to go lower with the expectation of what? Our higher time frame double top now. We got our lower time frame one. Now we've got a higher time frame one. All right, this ends up being a wick on the 15-minute time frame. Trading lower. We swept this candle. We took this long. I think this is the one you guys traded better than me on. This traded back down. Right? Why would we consider this low failing? We've got we've got a body closure up here. This failed, so we should take the low of that candle. We did. We swept it. We failed inside of where? Confluence. Right? So now we're sweeping a candle into an area of interest, which was responsible for something. This is an objective here. Right? This sweeping down in sweeps down into nothing. Right? Its objective was the low here that we ended up sweeping and failing immediately, I might add. So two very different trades. Did everybody kind of understand that concept? Even still, this was a risky one because we had our higher time frame failure. I can understand if nobody wanted to take that. I think some people actually ended up riding it short off of the failure in here. Right? We with me so far? Cool. Okay. So body closure underneath here. Definitely targeting that low. We're looking for this right now. Sweep. Failure. Range bound price action inside of our range. Right now we've got this. Right? So we've got pretty good confluence to trade higher, but this is where the 10 points to 10 points works beautifully. It's also where a lot of people will end up having a lot more profits than I do, and that's fine. But you can see the consistency of waiting for sweeps in key areas. Right? So trading into the imbalance, not looking great. Nice response. Into our SNDR, cool. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And there goes that high. Right? Failing to go lower, taking an objective, higher we go. Right? Same thing. Same thing. But you have to monitor the reactions that you're getting in key areas. Where's your first key area? Your first key area is this range that sent us lower. You're really watching the low of this candle to that high. So you're looking at this. Get rid of that now. Right? Trade it back to the midpoint. Pushed up into the range. Traded down. Failed. Traded up, closed here, and now you're pretty good to trade to this high. Right? But the key is that if you're waiting for confirmation in here, you're buying into the area where we're actually looking to take profit at. I'm not suggesting you have to get involved at 99.50, but if you're looking long and you're going long in here, you're buying in the middle of the range. Does everybody understand that? Your probability is less. When that works is when you pair that with candlestick theory confluence. What do I mean by that? I mean that we traded into our area of interest, right? This was where majority of consistently profitable traders will take that sweep into your objective. And depending on how things react, this is your stretch target. Potentially even just trailing your lows up if you're expecting parabolic, but that's not the weather that we're trading in today, is it? We're trading in range-bound price action. We're looking to fail the edges of the range back into the middle of it. We're not looking to catch monster moves from one side or the other. Right? That's major volatility news days where you get that. That's your FOMC days. That's your CPI days. Where you got your 4-hour double bottom and now away you go. Right? This took 25 minutes. right? Why is this important? It's important because some of you guys that are going long in here, looking at this being a bullish flip or something, right? We zoom out, we look at what the market's actually doing, what we're expecting today. That keeps you on the right side of narrative, which is the entire reason that we're buying or selling, right? What's the purpose of, well, not there. What's the purpose of buying here? It's to actually trade back up into this area that just sent us lower. And now we let price tell us, not our mind, we let price tell us if we're going to react from here, sweeping, failing, trading lower, or if we're going higher, trading back in and continuing. But we're not forcing our will in the market, buying here to take this, right? No bueno. Same reason we wouldn't sell here to continue lower, just because we're selling into an imbalance or something. That ends up working later on, maybe, but we want consistent actions to give us consistent profits. That means staying out of the middle of the range. Fade the extremes. Right? I can tell you that it's going to be a range-bound day, but you've really got to see it for yourselves, and you have to know how to trade them. Right? And sweep. Right? Where are we going? We going up or down? Right? We've got a nice little range here, right in the middle of the range. How many people got killed here?
Is that range inception? A range within a range within a range?
Range within the range inside, yeah. Yeah. Right? You've got your last manipulation here, yes. We've got a body closure above here, yes. Right? Where's your trade? Your trade isn't in here. If you're long on failure inside your confluence. Right? And if you get stopped out, then you're stopped out. Okay? Likewise with shorting here. Your target is this. You ended up hitting it here. Likewise with your long here. I think we talked about SBS, didn't we, Mikey, on this? Isn't this SBS? You know it better than me.
Yeah. Like a mini one or whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean, mini one and a large one, probably.
Yeah.
All right, it's all the same. It's all the same nonsense, right? We're taking liquidity at in a range. Failure here takes us here. Failure here should take us here. If it fails to do that, and it comes back down, right? Say you're in, where are you in from? Right? We're not in from here, in the middle, right? You're in from ideally somewhere in here, wherever that is. I don't care if it's 24, 22, 26, right? But you're in from, let's draw it out, right? If this is your range, well, that's here, say here. Right, draw it out visually. So anywhere in here is valid. Anywhere shorting from here is valid after failure. Right? Anywhere in here. Oops. Anywhere in here is ridiculous. Because now you're trying to predict, oh, I'm in at 33, I'm going to get my 10 points here. Trades up and then fails into your face. Or I'm short from here after it trades back in, expecting something that the market's telling you it doesn't want to do. And then you get your face melted. And then what happens? Inevitably, at least what used to happen to me all the time, you miss this trade, or you want to get in here and you talk yourself out of it, and then it goes on a rocket ship. And then what does your psychology say? Oh shit, I
Time to
knew I
go
should
for a
have done
walk.
something stupid and gotten in here and made money. Right? So then what happens the next time it happens? You buy here. And then what happens? You get your face melted. Right? So it's the understanding that when you're in trouble, when you're not be, there's nothing wrong with taking a long here at all, period. This is an excellent trade. It's in the middle of the range. I'm not wild about it, but you're understanding that there's failure going on here and that the market, as a result, is telling you that it has to go higher. And it did. Didn't it? It went about 20 points higher from that low before failing and coming back down.
And like realistically, on days like today, you're taking these trades, especially in the middle of the range like that. Like if you're taking that sweep, please don't try to hold for the heavens. You know what I mean? Just take your points and dip.
Yes. Range days are great where you catch a banger. That's a 40-point banger. Right? And it actually happened relatively quickly. The majority of range days do not do this. They do this. Sweeping again. Trades back in. Right? Consider everybody that went long in here that saw this. Now it trades back in and they bought more. And then they got taken out. Take your profits. Take your profits. I got long there, but was I too early? No. No, you weren't too early at all. That's an excellent entry. You're talking about this candle. That's awesome. Where's your target? Or at the very minimum, when are you out? That's right. Does this here look like expansionary price action? Not really, right? What do you want to see with expansionary price action? Let's show you. Right? This is expansionary. You have price driving higher. Any selling gets immediately bought up and body closures on its high. Right? Even this told us we wanted to go lower. Right? So when you see, this is a little bit more in depth of a market review. I don't know if you guys actually prefer these rather than this is what the market did or this is the structure or whatever. I'm trying to go over some of the trades that were possible, some of the trades that were likely to be taken that had nothing wrong with them that may or may not have worked out. Right? So if we remove all of this and we're here, you're looking at this fractal. Right? You're looking at this fractal. Consolidation, cool. We actually failed into it and there was a reaction out of it. Aggressive long, but ballsy and very strong, right? Didn't sweep and fail, but it tapped into an area of interest and we got a reaction out of it. That's why this is strong, because of this area of interest. And we got a reaction out of it. And if you're wrong and you take that trade there, wherever that was, 25.50, right? And it opens here, trades higher, and then blasts down, then you take your stop and you're out small. Otherwise, you're looking for, okay, we just failed here. We're trading lower. We're trading back up. We actually trade through and we fail here. So our trade is, say, where are you? 25.50. Cool. Yeah, it's a banger. It's a banger entry. What's your stop? 7 ticks? 7 ticks?
This
guy.
Fire.
Give him a channel. Look at that. Casual 3.4 to 1 for you that love your risk reward. More if you top ticket it like a legend. 4 to 1. Right? So what does it come down to? What's the other question of trade management? What's something that I ask you guys all the time? Where are you? What? Where are you wrong? Where are you wrong on this trade? Where does this idea of taking a long here for potentially this high or some sort of monster move, where are we wrong? Genuine question. Tell me what you guys see. Okay. Right? If we're here, we've now got a body closure above this candle. Delighted with ourselves. Right? We've got a nice body closure. Sure, we have some selling. We've got this area here that hasn't been touched yet. We've got this high here that hasn't been touched yet. That trade up to it? I don't think it did. Right? So you can understand that we've got targets above. Sure, we've got a flat bottom candle, but that's not necessarily imminently an issue. But with our understanding of ranges, we know that failure here takes us above that candle. And now we're looking for failure here, yes. But what does that failure look like? It's not necessarily this candle itself. That's very aggressive, taking it off. Personally, I would have, yes. Obviously, in hindsight, that looks like the thing to do. But how do we look at this in real time and go, I'm up 13, 14 points, 15 points, and go, well, what if our next candle opens here, trades a bit lower, and then rockets up and we get it here? And we're taking it off for here, right? We have to be at peace with that decision. And the way you get to be at peace with that decision is what? When you're actually making a decision based off of what you see and what your trade plan is, and not based off of emotion. Right? Because trading off of emotion leads us down an inconsistent path. Trading based off of structure and our analysis, things that we can replicate consistently, that will lead to consistent actions and habits and consistent results. Whether those consistent results are 60% and now we can improve our trading decisions and our habits, cool. Now we can consistently build off of our process. Right? But if you're trading off of emotion, you won't find consistency. So this is an excellent example of an extremely, extremely good entry. And now we're looking at, okay, possibly getting out here, but when do we become concerned about the position? Right? This candle traded up, traded down. Below here, we swept it and failed. Hindsight, or actually we didn't sweep this and failed, right? We haven't targeted this low yet. And we've now closed here. Is this failure? We didn't take this high. Bear bar in the middle of a range. Do we take it off on the close here? Right? What I would personally...
Can I add something there, Bull?
Of course you can.
Like as soon as you see failure on that bullish candle, you know what I mean? Like let me see what candle it is here. Where are we in time? Yeah, like that 1007 candle, right? Where are we? Yeah, like when you see that 1007 candle fail, right? Like that one there, like you should at least, if you're in on that sweep entry, right? Like a sweep entry, the whole point is it's not going to come back, right? So once you see failure at the highs there on that candle, like at the very least, if you didn't take your profit, like you should be going stop to break even there, right? Because that's the market kind of showing you that, hey, maybe this is not ready, right? You know what I mean? Instead of letting yourself be up 10, 15 points and then get it slapped back in your face and eat your stop, right? Just a little 2 cents.
How did you manage this out of curiosity? Poor Trader Green. We're literally discussing this in front of the group. Hopefully you're not nervous, my friend. This is excellent.
Yeah, he took his 10 points. He took his 10 points like a legend, right? Like and that's amazing.
Legend is right. Got him. Got him. Right? Now, this is an excellent case study because I think a lot of people have this sort of bar by bar where you guys are starting to see this now in ranges, aren't we? Where we're looking and we get a sweep of one side, which takes the low that we failed. Sweep of here should take us above. And now we're looking at where to fail, which ends up being here with the body closure. Right? So getting involved, there's 4 trades here. I wouldn't consider this one because I would look at that as an imbalance entry. Right? But you guys can make your daily, hell, you can make your weekly money just in this alone. And if you don't believe me, consider how easily you can lose your accounts trading this improperly. I think we've all been there. I know I certainly have, especially at the bottom or top of a range. Right? Consider how many people blew up. How many people blew up in here expecting the lows to get taken? How many people blew up in here? A lot of people outside of this group, tell you that. We were stalking this long and we nailed it, didn't we? And I don't know about you guys, but wasn't that long ago. I can still remember shorting here for this low and getting cooked. Right? So trading in ranges, we trade up, we trade down. This low eventually trades higher and fails. So what happens to this low? It gets wrecked. Right? So there's one short down. Right? We then sweep here into an area of interest. We trade higher. We take out that high. There's 2 trades. Right? We then fail in here. So we short, expecting this low now to get wrecked because it's weak. So we short here. Failure here should take us above. Yes, there's 10 points, but let's say hypothetically that our target is here, and now we trade back down and we're stop break even. With the understanding that if this low can't put in and even take this high and fail, even if it fails, we're out with target. If it can't do that and it trades back to it, we're wrecked. We don't want it trading back down to us, which is kind of the crux of our sweep model. If we're taking a sweep, right? This one was very challenging. Some people caught that as well. Awesome. Right? But we're looking for a sweep of this low. And your target is the high of the candle that just failed to do anything. Right? That's your conservative money maker. Right? Consider even this huge candle. Asking a lot of the market took a little while, but it's failed to close below it, and it touched into an objective, which is the 1-2 punch. So sweep, right? Failure as it trades back through this candle. Body closure here, your stops now break even, right? Bullish price action after it comes off of this low, wherever you're involved in here. You're not involved in here, right? When do we move it to break or to the low of the manipulation? When we get a bullish push and the market attempts to fail and can't. Right? So stock goes here, closes on its highs. We're now break even, wherever that is. Continues higher, eventually takes that high. You guys will see this repeat over and over. There will be, we might do some sort of a, how many people we got in here? 22? How you guys feel about homework? Bring it. You guys aren't even aware of the leveling up we've got in store for you. I'm so excited. That Trader V post today, his first payout. His first payout, man. That gets me fired up. Seeing you guys succeed, that gets me fired up. I can't wait for each and every one of you guys to be in the spotlight for that. That's really cool. I see Stotts typing. I think Stotts was in the limelight with your first recently, wasn't it? Wasn't it in June?
The boys are on fire in here, man.
Yes, sir.
And the girls too, like Michelle and all them, are just absolutely destroying the markets.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's so cool. So cool. We have a group that's so dedicated and into just improvement on multiple fronts. Makes teaching you guys makes my job so easy to an extent, I suppose, but you know, yeah, I can't say enough about you guys, but third of the way. We're here for all of it, man. Cool. On the topic of specific stuff, and I'll chat with Mikey as well about some stuff for you guys to close the loop on that last conversation about some assignments. I definitely don't want something similar to how I did in deplorables. I don't think I think that the way we kind of have it laid out with live streams regarding the groups is a better way to go. But we'll look at doing something that's specific for these kind of trades. Does anybody have any trades that they want me to go over or any setups? Let me look at some of the trades.
I think a bunch of us took this. I think you're out. You said in the park or whatever, but around the 12:30 there. I know like everybody in in the live trading chat. Like there was a bunch of legends that we all basically. It was crazy, man. It we have Big Mouse over here, and like I said, like I first met that guy in Pepe's Discord, and me and him were literally in the same trades all day, over and over and over again. And of course, the first day of the Discord today, we're all in the same trade again. So it was a little nostalgic. It was nice. It was cool. It was funny.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned that. You mentioned that like 6 people. I think I put synchronization in the in that channel because you guys all nailed the same thing. I was actually a little jealous. Um, let's walk through that in a sec. And then, did anybody catch the short back into the zone? Anybody at all? Or were we a little nervous taking something back in?
I was having a little trap nap when that happened. I woke up just in time to catch that long.
Legend. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. So yeah, let's go over that one. Right. So what do we got going on here? Mouse got some longs only. Cool, cool, cool. Right. So you have this little fractal here. You got one here, obviously, as well. We zoom back in.
The 5 minute really gave it away for me. Like that's what when I looked at the 5 minute, I was like, oh, okay, this is going.
Oh, never mind that 5. No, I'm just kidding. What's that?
I'm gonna switch you over just like I did with Asia, Bull.
Yeah.
Start using the 5 minute.
Bro, I started on the 5. I started on the 5. I studied candlesticks on the 5. That's where I learned my candlestick theory. But you've already got me on the 5 during Asia, so it's an easy sell. But I like my my zoom.
Just look at candlestick theory on the 5 minute for that setup, man. Tell me that's not beautiful.
Right. So what do we have here? We've got a range. You got a big range here from this low, this high. Encapsulates all of it. We've got this internal jousting going on here. We trade below, we fail, we climb up. We actually trade into here, touch here, that didn't take the high yet, traded down, and then rocket ship. So realistically, what are we looking at? We're looking at this area here, that fractal, that broke this entire downtrend. And yes, that was a right degree turn, just because this is there. That's better for you OCT people like myself, right? So this area broke out of this consolidation at the bottom of the range and led to major movement. We've got the origin here. So what did we do? We traded sharply down, a low right above a point of interest, traded back up, swept it, bang, traded sideways, traded down, failed. Here's your order flow flip for you, those of you that enjoy confirmation entries. Right, so down, up, down, bang, bang, bang. Right, this especially, right, tried trading down. We did this instead. This area here, that high to that low. Beautiful midpoint. I don't think it really touched it. I think it's one tick. 1750. The low of this was 18, 18, 18. Yeah, so 2 ticks. Sorry. And yeah, that's absolutely stunning. Trading back up probably to the range at the minimum this area here. Where does this go to? Look at that. Right back up to consolidation. Right? Change in order flow, right up to consolidation, right back down to consolidation. Forming its own structure on the way. Stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. That's really cool that you guys all caught that. Okay, let's see one thing here. Where are we? Where are we? Oh, of course not. Sorry, one sec. Huh. Trying to show you guys some executions on my chart, but it's not allowing me to. Mm, mm. Weird. I'll have to
We
figure it
trading
out.
your Top Step accounts today, Bill?
Yeah, that top step one was I sent that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I think because at the end of the day, at 2 they wipe it. I'm pretty sure, and then reset for the new day. So that's maybe why your executions aren't popping up.
So weird. You guys keep asking for it, and I want to kind of give you some rather than like talking about the trades that I was doing. Maybe it's on preferences. God. Yeah, they're on there, but they're in white. That is gross.
If we weren't at all-time highs right now, this is like one of those real nice, because like it's not like a higher time frame area of interest that we've just consolidated into the end of the day, but like these are kind of like those Asian setups that I'm just telling everybody that I like. You know what I mean? Like when we take out a higher time frame, because like we took out the highs here at 1555. Right now we've just been like ranging up here. These are like kind of like the money setups that I look for at open for Asia. Like say if we usually like we can take out we took out all-time highs, which is obviously like a high time frame point of interest, and then we like kind of consolidate into the end of the day. Look for like a mean reversion play back into the range. Kind of what I'm going to be looking for in Asia. But obviously it's got to set up right. You know what I mean?
Well, that's really lame about Top Step. Sorry, guys. It's got my trades on. It's got my trades on there, but it's showing them in all white. You guys are gonna have to just look at the chart that I posted earlier. Sorry. And I don't know what's going on with Apex. Maybe because it's in the middle. Here, I'll send this though. This I had from earlier. Just a few. No emojis or anything. This is just pure for transparency for just Green July. We'll be posting that on Twitter as well. Nothing extraordinary, just 4 trades. 2 of them ended up being 5-pointers as it came back down. I think we caught them on stream. Just slowly building these up And yeah, we'll leave it at that, right? But my point is that some days you can make 1 or 2,000, but in order to get a payout, it's actually much better to stay from 400 to 800 bucks and just maintain your consistency without letting the red days get to you. So, any other questions for you guys? Um, 10 verse 20, I would start with 10, go to 5, then to 10. If you have a psychological thing at 20, then stop at 19. Right? But what you'll find is that it's actually centered more around dollar value. Right? So, for example, I don't really look at the amount of money that I've made on a daily basis. That could have been 275 bucks. I wouldn't care. Similarly, on Friday, I was feeling good, so I took it to $1,000 each. Other days, I'll take it to 2,000 or 3,000. Right? Depends entirely on what sort of weather I'm in. Similarly, with Apex, what you're looking at is if you're like, you know what, I make $80,000 a month, right? Notice how that feels. Does that feel wild? Does that feel neutral, as in indifferent? Right? Because that's 20 accounts of $2,000 each at 50K. Those of you in Canada, that's about 110, 120 grand a month, right? But if you don't notice anything when you're saying, I make $40,000 a month, then take it a step further and go, I make $50,000 a month, and that's not enough. That's not enough. I'm worth a hell of a lot more than that. And then notice how you feel. Right? Yeah. And then take it a step further. Right? So what you're doing is you're looking at, do you have some sort of internal belief against making that much money? We can say consciously that we trade the same on 20 accounts or 10 accounts or 5 accounts, right? But if you actually look within and you find emotions, then I would refer you to the wife's video, and you got to get that out of you. The end goal for everybody in here, in my opinion, assuming that they continue on, is 20 Apex accounts with 2 payouts a day or a month, right? So I'll be another couple of days where I'm taking $500 to $1,000 a day on some of them, just grinding to the next payout. And then once I'm at my goal, then I'll step it up a little bit more. That's just how I sort of operate. Okay. Any other questions or anything, guys? Yeah, we went over some trade specific stuff and some theory of what we're looking for, right? And you see this thing in here as well, right? Low, high, low, internal range, sweeps, fails, gone. Anything you want to add, Mikey? PM session narrative is tough. Yes, it is. In my opinion.
Sorry, I had my dog was going crazy, but yeah, no, bro. I think we killed it. Like I say, it's kind of just let you guys know kind of what I'm going to be looking for at Asia Open. Just going to see if this range that we put in above the highs now, if that's going to fail, get some kind of double top into Asia. Maybe it'll spike up and double top. But yeah, I'll come on stream a little later. We might end up having, pretty slow PA in Asia, but who knows? We'll see. Like I say, I'll be probably on around 9:30 Asia time. But if anybody's like looking at the Open or whatever, or around their computer at the Open, that's kind of where my brain is going. Right, looking like kind of got some consolidation up here now. Do we get like a double top failure in Asia at the highs and then bring it back into the range? That's what I'd be looking for, kind of at the Open here.
Cool. Okay, lads. We'll let you guys go, and we'll see you guys later on. Cheers.